Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today the season ends in 2 more days, so we are going for the end of season pushes. I wanted to share a new composition with you guys, but first, happy Thanksgiving, happy late Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was yesterday or the day before, and I was spending it with my family, got to hang out with my sister, got to hang out with my parents, and it was generally an amazing time. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving as well if you're in the US. And here we're going to hop into a game. I am playing Arcade Mage, playing with my friends Supatiz and Envioso. We're playing Holy Priest, Boomkin, Arcade Mage. Very weird composition here, but I'm kind of like walk you through the game, kind of explain how the composition works, and it's definitely not an ordinary composition here, right, at all. And here I'm changing my music to start here, but you know, in this game we're going for those chastise stun setups, and the reason chastise is so powerful with a Holy Priest, guys, is because it's undispellable, right? We can go for that stun and there's nothing they can really do about it, even if we don't cross CC. So the goal, the major goal here would be to get some type of CC, chastise the DPS, and blow them up. But what can happen too once dampening starts to kick in is that we can just start throwing chastises all around, because the cooldown of the stuns reduced with smite, and kind of go for those stuns pretty much all over the place and keep them rooted at a pillar. If they come out, they're getting blown up. That's what we're going to try to aim for later in this match. Start right away, starting with a mass invisibility, trying to go for a sheep on the shaman. Do get wind sheared, frost nova him in place, going for the blood elf silence into the polymorph, and immediately orb. Something I want to talk about just briefly. Orb didn't break my poly there, and I want to show you guys why. When you cast poly right here, I can orb immediately without it breaking the poly, even though the poly is right on top. So watch this. I'm going to sheep the shaman and orb immediately. It does damage, but it won't break the poly because the poly just landed. Okay, so sheep and orb at the same time. It won't break your sheep, and it allows you to stack up your arcane charges so you can actually do a little bit of damage. That's exactly what I did right there. So it's a little micro trick that you guys might want to put into your gameplay. But they're doing a lot of damage to my priest in this situation, trying to peel by sheeping the Death Knight, but do get kicked, unfortunately. But now that Mind Freeze and Wind Shear are both out of the way, I can spam free polymorphs on the DPS, which really allows my priest to reset and recover, and that's what we're going for. Now some more smites are coming out, so the priest can get another chastise, hopefully get a setup onto the monk here, because the Death Knight is on stun DR already. The grounding totem does come out. We might be able to get some CC onto the shaman right here. No wind shear, no mind freeze, get the full polymorph. Fist of Fury coming out of my priest. My priest getting very low here, and AMC comes out. This is when we stop our damage and we start to peel once again. Now we did make a little bit of a mistake here. The Windwalker monk is in a polymorph and a cyclone at the same time, which, you know, you don't want to do that. So I switched my polymorph to the Death Knight. The Windwalker's in the cyclone. My priest can free cast right now, which is wonderful. The wind shear is available from metaphors, but if he does wind shear the priest, then the Boomkin and I are both clear to clear cast, and we're getting a little bit more damage out onto the monk. He does get that Earth Shield though, the Fighting Brew as well, the monk wall, and he does survive for now. But it's like a constant pressure game, right? If we can keep up our pressure to keep them in a defensive spot, it's gonna snowball. If we can't though, then we're going to be on the defensive. But my priest, once again, going into the Fist of Fury, the leg sweep from the monk. DK is getting very low though, because the triple sheeps onto the shaman, pops Icebound Fortitude, and heals himself back to full life. And here I'm gonna start spamming sheeps a little bit, because that was the end of our go, kind of letting my priest reset a little bit. So we have the clones on the Windwalker, the sheeps onto the Death Knight. They can't really move at all, and that's the strength of our composition, right? If we're ever in trouble, we spam out the polymorphs, we spam out the cyclones, we let ourselves reset, and then deeper and deeper into dampening. Once we actually get some really nice chastise out, some big stuns out, full polymorph comes out, into the half polymorph, into the quarter polymorph, kind of blinking behind the pillar here, getting more damage out onto the Death Knight and onto the Windwalker. The Spear Link comes out. Actually, I don't know if he needed the Spear Link, but he does. Keeps himself and his team topped off, and we have the Arcane Barrages coming out. And once they start stacking like this, and we get the Boomkin Cleave, and they start stacking like this, we get the Arcane Mage Cleave from that Resonance Talon from Arcane Barrage. We're really starting to rip through the enemy team. On top of that, I have Arcane Power backup ready to use for our next big go, for our next chastise. So as soon as that priest has a little bit more time, we can do that. A little bit more time to cast those smites to get that next stun. We can go with another big stun go. Shaman's getting very low, however, just from like that pushing in, getting that pressure, and I blink out, get the sheep, displace back, continue the damage onto the DK, and here I want to just babysit the Shaman a little bit longer, continue the pressure, and force more defensive cooldowns from them. My Priest does use the Ray to keep himself top tier. Does look like it pays off. Frost Nova, very, very valuable as an arcane mage. It's your only root, so every time you do it, it's pretty much going to be a full root for the most part, unless your Boomkin's rooting things as well. But against a team like this, if you rotate your Frost Novas with your polymorphs, you know, you can only dispel one of them. So if they're wasting a dispel on the root, great, you can full poly. If they don't waste their dispel on the root, then guess what? They're sitting a full root, and that's really good anyway. So you want to keep in mind that Frost Nova is actually a very, very valuable talent here. The Paralyze comes out, the Hex Totem comes out. I'm being controlled a little bit, but at the same time, we're controlling them with the Cyclones, with the polymorphs. So guys, generally, your burst pressure is going to be get to 4 arcane charges, and then use something like Arcane Power, Presence of Mind, get the double Arcane Blast going out, get some missiles channeled, and then finish it off with a big Arcane Barrage. That's kind of what you want to go for here. And as you can see, I jumped down to actually root Metaphors out of line of sight, so we had to use a Dispel on the Frost Nova, and then I got the full Sheep to Windwalker with no Dispel. So that's something that I was just talking about, guys. The Frost Nova can be very valuable, if nothing else, to bait the Dispel, so people have to sit the full Polymorph instead of, the other way around. Either way, it's really good. It's just it's something that's really annoying that you want to dispel. Getting that dispel out of the way lets people sit more CC. Going for that blink into the Belf there on the cast. Couldn't quite get the polymorph, but I do have cooldowns up, and this is what we want to see happen. Once they're at a pillar, once they're kind of rooted at the pillar, every time they poke out of the pillar, guess what happens? They get absolutely annihilated. Shaman is going for a drink here, so I do invis over, stop the drink almost immediately. Once again, root him. The Dispel does come out. It doesn't look like I'm going to follow it up with any polymorphs there, but getting that Dispel on cooldown, is helpful regardless. You can't Dispel the DPS's dots off. If I did want to go for a Sheep there, the Sheep would have landed. But we have that Chastise stun coming out on the DK, big damage coming out. I do have Arcane Power and Presence Mind up, and I've had it up for a little bit now, so I do want to get that back on cooldown, use it onto the Monk, get that Karma out of the way. Wind Shear and Mind Freeze and the kick from the Monk all coming out, so we have no kicks to deal with anymore. This is all from my Omnibar add-on, making sure all those kicks are out of the way before I'm free casting. Click on that Sky Fury Totem, kill that Sky Fury Totem. Make sure they're not getting that increase for the healing. Have my kick available for the rest of Shaman as well. So I'm spamming a lot of Arcane Explosions, which you guys might be curious about as well. And that's because it gives me Arcane Charges. It's decent damage, and it builds up my charges. Then I can instantly Arcane Barrage with that Resonance Talent for a ton of cleave pressure. And guess what? I don't need to cast the whole time. It's risk-free if there's no chance to get kicked on Arcane Explosion because it is instant cast, right? So that's why you're going to see me do a lot of Arcane Explosion. Once again, the Shaman is going for that drink. I jump down to try to stop it. Do get paralyzed though, but the DK does use Icebound Fortitude here to survive. So now the DK has no Icebound Fortitude. Definitely going to keep that available in my mind as a potential kill option. But once again, guys, once they're stacked, this is when a smile comes onto my face. This is when we can start cleaving very hard. This is when they are in trouble. If they are in the open, I think we can eventually win as well. But once they start stacking with all of our cleave pressure, it just gets easier and easier. It's kind of like a very momentum snowball based game when you're playing Arcane Mage Boomkin. And the start of games might feel really slow, but by the end of the games, you're going to be feeling a lot better. So here's exactly what I'm talking about. The Shaman is letting himself dip a little bit low. He does get counterspelled as well, so that's kind of why he's getting a little bit low. But he's at 61% at the start of the Chastise. I need one more stack before I'm at 4 Arcane Charges to get that big Arcane Barrage out. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Get the 4 Arcane Charges with the Arcane Explosions. Okay, so I'm not like trying to cast an Arcane Blast. I'm not trying to channel missiles. They have all 3 kicks available. I'm not playing risky here. I'm just pressing Arcane Explosion, getting my stacks up, and then instant Arcane Barrage into a Blood Elf Silence afterwards, and the Shaman goes down. So let me replay that. I think a lot of Arcane Mages, like right here, would like try to cast a Mark of Alunith. No, you're gonna get kicked. You're gonna get stopped and do 0 damage. There you might try to cast an Arcane Blast. No, guys, just use your Arcane Explosions. Gather your stacks. Get the Shaman nice and low. Get that big, Arcane Barrage out, and boom, you can just get kills just like that without actually having to risk a cast. Now, if there was less kicks, you know, the kill's different, then sure, you can get that Mark of a Lunathoth sometimes, but it's not always worth it to try and cast instead of just getting the instant cast Arcane Explosions out like I do, getting those instant cast Arcane Barrages, and kind of just continuing that rotation. At the end of the game, look at the damage breakdown. Was doing a significant amount of damage while peeling a lot, and I wasn't even casting that much at all. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's good to be back from Thanksgiving. Can't wait to start pumping out these videos again for you guys. Project 70 did start yesterday, so I might be doing some Project 70 stuff. Definitely going to be looking to do Arena in these last couple of days as well. Comment below if you're going to try this comp or what comp you guys are trying in your Gladiator or Duelist pushes or Rank 1 pushes, whatever title you guys are going for. Let me know what you're going to be running down below in the comments, guys. Thumbs this video up if you liked it. Thumbs it down if you didn't. Talk to me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.